Yeah, it is going to be profound. Hello, everybody. Yeah, you just stepped into the middle of our conversation, but that's okay. It's like, have you ever been, Trina, in a mixer? I remember back in my corporate days that, you had the cocktail mixers.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned the art of dropping in on conversations and immediately trying to pick up, where's the conversation, who's basically carrying it. Anyway,
Right.
yes.
That's a skill of mastery.
Well, it is. It truly is. But happy New Year's to you, my dear. Good
Yes,
to.
and you too, and to everybody in chat. Happy
Yes,
New
yes.
Year.
How everybody there. I'm putting, instead of happy, I am saying, calling those things that be not as they are. So I'm speaking joy and favor for the new year. Because
That's awesome.
Trina, happy doesn't work. I mean,
Right. Well, you know what? I think happy does work, but that's because a 3-year-old told me this secret. And she told me when she was little, when we would talk about you need to be happy. And she just looked at me one day, she goes, happy now. And then it was just, it started to become a thing that we did. When there was something wrong, we would go, let's shift it. Let's be happy now. So happy now for me has always been a powerful tool for frequency shift.
that is phenomenal. You and I were talking. I try to get about an hour of meditation time in before I do any of these shows. And today it became very, how should I say it imprinted upon my consciousness, my state of consciousness as it was, that the thing that we are to really learn here is to learn how to master to live in the present.
Yes. Yes, because our subconscious mind has always got us going in replay of the past.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a very hard mental construct to break. It takes discipline, but it can be done.
It
Yes.
can be done
Yes, it can be done.
because that's the trap.
Absolutely.
and and
Absolutely.
and as if, folks, we did not pre-plan this, but the next statement will be epitomize the whole point here. If you are in this trap to where you're either focusing on your past and worrying about the future, what you have become your own Satan, your own
Yes.
accuser.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
You
The
know
only
what?
accuser is you. And that is a hard thing to really learn to digest and process. But when you can completely grasp a hold of this and understand that it really is a fact, it is a beautiful thing, because then you know that you're the only one you're going to have to deal with on the other aspect. So it becomes empowering after you go through the shock of it.
And I was meditating on this today, and it gets deep, because here's the thing. Any entity that you would meet in the transition from the physical back to the spirit, the ether, um, whatever you would be to encounter can only come at you by accusing you of what you've already accused yourself of.
Yes, or bringing you your fear, your own fear. So either one of those aspects, they're trying to shift your frequency, because they can't get into your field until you open the door, and that is through your own frequency. So if you get scared, or if you are being accused, or whatever, they're bringing forth a challenge for you, when they can get you to lock into their frequency, then they can feed, and they
Yeah.
can get into you and get into your field, because it's literally an opening of a door.
And that, and I think, in particularly as, you pass from this life to the next, I'm learning a few things. So mastering the moment. And um, so if I no longer accuse myself,
Mhm.
then who is worthy to accuse me then?
No one, if you truly understand what sovereignty means, and if you truly understand the concept of a sovereign God.
I read the Thunder and the Perfect Mind yesterday, and that's just a
I
mind
love
blowing.
that. Yes, I love that.
Every time you go through it, it's just, it's like this. Wow.
That those teachings are one of they shook me to my core and rang like a bell of truth within me. Yeah, that took a while for me to process and digest. Those are some profound teachings.
You know what it reiterated for me? It's solidified in the whole fact that here is the conundrum that I believe every soul faces is, are we created perfect and then experiencing an imperfect experience, or is there no such thing as being created perfect? You're created and you're going to advance as you experience more. So the concept of either being perfect or imperfect is completely out of balance.
I think so too. I think the only way it makes sense in my mind is to attain any kind of perfection would to be returning to your fullness of what you actually are. Because I truly believe that we are fractaled down from a bigger part of us that is truly you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like this over soul, this higher self, this part of you that never descends into matter. That part of you is the part of you that is going to hold you accountable. This is the being you will be doing your life review with. It's you. And when you can understand that all the accusations and all of it is learning in matter. This is matter. When you understand that you are above matter, you come from before matter. Matter is an experience that has nothing to do with what you are as a being. It's information, it's knowledge, but there's no judgment to it. It's just basically wisdom. And we're all gathering all these different experiences for creation itself. So when you can understand, that's how, therefore, you cannot judge another ever, because you don't understand. You have no clue why they're doing what they're doing. They could be
Bingo.
fulfilling an agreement with somebody else to be the villain. We do not know what is going on. So therefore, it would be really wise not to stand and judge about it, because you truly can't.
Yeah, and it's kind of the ultimate force field. If you don't stand in judgment, and it's something that we have to battle, all of us, because
Yeah.
it's kind of what we've been programmed into. I mean, it is. And
Me too.
when you say the fact that I am seeing this over and over in so many different places, that it's becoming very obvious that well, okay, let me just say it onto the individual, because the individual is all that one can speak to.
Right.
So from the individual perspective, i.e. myself,
Uh-huh.
that what I am learning is that I'm not really here. I'm in
Yeah.
this body. Yes, I'm in aware of a state of consciousness. I get that. But, I have meditated on this for almost 7 months since it really came to me back in June, was that where do my thoughts originate from?
Yeah.
Where is the core of the essence of my resting?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get the sense that I perceive it here because this is where my sensory perceptions are at. However, if I was to smash my finger, I'd become very aware of the consciousness of my finger.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
that would basically say that we're all observing ourselves. We're both the observer and the one being observing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And when you're into the point now in meditation where you're getting to see multiple views.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it is a fractal when you think about it in the
Yes.
concept.
Yes.
No whole number is a whole number without its fractions.
Yes.
And fractions are just merely the, extrapolation from fractals.
Yes.
And I mean
Yeah.
that I was thinking today, Trina, as well. I got lost. I was projecting out. I was in a place where I was standing and I could see the electron, the positron, the neutron, and as it was motioning, how it became the substrate of what we would call molecules, and
Mm-hmm.
then how these molecules become the material matter of the manipulation of those atoms that I was seeing in my time of meditation.
It's awesome.
It was far out, is what it was.
Yeah, that's quantum. That's going quantum. That's cool. That is
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen I've actually been into meditative states where I've actually seen similar to that. And then I've seen the geometries forming.
Oh
All the,
yeah,
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 the
yeah.
geometric patterns, and I could see words forming into symbols, and it was just crazy amazing. I was like, whoa, it was beautiful.
So I'm going to show you what I see so often in when there is this one shape that has taken prominence
Cute.
in my meditation time, and it basically looks like this. It's, it becomes
Oh,
a
the
6 to 8
stargaze.
sided, but
Yeah.
actually it's not no, I made it, it's actually a 8 sided square.
Okay. You
And
know what that to me is the Metatronic cube, the Merkaba,
well, it's very prominent in my time.
and it spins
I can see it right
in
now.
light.
Yeah, I see it.
Merkaba.
Yeah. So what does that say to you?
It says to me that you can travel anywhere you want to go.
Well, now I'm getting the idea because it literally showed up, Trina, about a month or two ago. It's like, well, now I know. Been holding the damn ticket the whole time. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay.
Oh, like,
Like,
okay, destination. Are you sure? Just know where you want to go.
you all aboard yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's literally what I see. And it was interesting because it
Uh-huh.
started out black.
Mhm.
And as I began to learn to capture it in my thought and focus upon it, it continued to stay black, but it began to spin.
Uh-huh.
And now that as I see it, it's becoming tinged with bronze.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's obviously what I'm seeing is that this is still developing.
Yeah, and it's part of you, it's part of your body, and it's part of your ability to use geometry and math to travel. It's part of you. Yeah. It's your Merkaba field, and you're building and constructing it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well,
Like I said, it's one of those, like the rainbows landing on your house. It's gonna be
yeah, it's
one of
like,
those.
yeah. I mean, so how would you look back on your 2019, Trina?
Oh, I would say the best part of it was meeting everybody in this community and learning and just expanding my mind further. And it's like for me, 2020, for the message I keep hearing, it's like 2020, it's time to remove the veil, to have perfect vision, to see all that's been hidden and reclaim our inner vision. So that's what it keeps coming to me. It's going to be big time for sight. It's going to be big time for
Hmm.
all the things we've been wanting to see. I really think we're going to start to see more. And I think 2019 was the mental preparation for the ability to see this new information that's going to come in.
How did you see yourself growing? I mean, so often I know I see there's so many channels that are talking about 2020, and we always love the predictions and the
I think,
prognosticators.
like I said, I think 2020 is going to be more of the we're going to start to see things that we maybe didn't want to look at. But I really do think the veil is going to be ripped because 2020 means perfect vision.
Mm-hmm.
And we call it 2020 for a reason. So I think there's going to be big information with this, with people starting to see spirits and people starting to see more energies, more activities, more higher mind ability to see, third eye awakening. I just see that it's a time for vision improvement to the extreme, especially for like people in this community. It's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
guys, hold on, this might be really, really fast moving advancements.
Yeah, it's interesting. I look back in 2019, and there were ceilings that were broke through. We covered topics here that you don't find everyone else, and
No.
particularly dealing with the ancient manuscripts
Yes.
and applying, I think, so often their allegories to what the story was, how it integrates,
Yeah.
and you know the show last week with Kent, which was fabulous. I want him
Oh,
back on. I thought we just had an
It's
exceptional
awesome.
time. Yes,
Yes,
he is
yes,
um, just
yeah.
an amazing man. Um,
Amazing soul. Yeah,
yes, yes, absolutely.
yeah. And
Um,
he battles hard for people and they don't even know it. He's one of those hidden warriors.
yeah, and I believe to help him on that. I think that as more people continue to shake off the malaise of,
Mhm.
and I'll say this in kindness, what we missed in the metaphysical and the awakening community was we get to that place because it feels good. It begins to provide answers, and those answers begin to provide a lessening of the anxiety and the fear. And so often we will stay in that vein because it's the one that brings us the most comfort. But
Absolutely.
we failed to understand, but it was the pain that got us into that point to begin with. And it means that there's going to be more pain to get up even. And I hate that matrix, but pain seems to be the ticket.
It doesn't always have to be pain. It can be confusion. There's
Yeah.
there's many different roads to get you there, but it's always a road that's going to shake up your current thought process. It's making you or forcing you or putting the opportunity in front of you to look at something from a completely different position. And that's how change is made, and that's how awakening happens, is like you start to see new things and you see old things in a different perspective so you can heal it, clear it, and keep the wisdom, but lose all the charge and all the guilt and all the pain and anguish and crap. Because we came here to experience some really tough shit. So
And while you were talking, and I'm convinced of this, folks, and there is technology that I believe is already existing that will show this, but there is a metamorphosis that takes place within each of us, I think, from our soul energy. And that metamorphosis is really coming from the pupae into the larva, and then the larva into that next stage of the metamorphosis process.
yep.
As I think that we become aware of the fact that, number one, we're not the only ones in the universe. Not all spirits are going to look like bipedals or like humans. And I was told that today in meditation as well, is that the problem that so many have is that in their concept of God, the creator, is that he's a 6-foot human.
Yeah, it's
And
super limited. It's based on our belief systems and what we've been taught. And we've
yeah.
been, shown this human figure on this cross, and that was part of downsizing God in our mind. So now we don't remember the gods that can hold this planet in their hand like a cupcake.
Boy, speaking from exactly what I got today in my morning meditation was this, is that we have to go beyond. Here's the thing, and I was speaking this out loud because I know that I know there's other spirits around. And in my conversation this morning was this, I said, I cannot comprehend what the source of the creator is. I can comprehend God. I get
Yeah,
that
yeah,
because
me too.
that is a limited construct. And I said, I spoke out, I said, all I know is this, is that it is.
Yes. Hmm.
That's the most my brain can comprehend right now.
Yeah, and then my brain went to the it is for a while, and then it went to the it is, and then it went to the and it is not. And then that really took me a while to get through that one too,
And
because
talking about, well, that's exactly what we read yesterday. I'm
yeah,
both
it's like
the whore and I'm the Holy Virgin. And I'm going, yeah, okay. I am that which is holy and I'm that which is profane.
yes.
Well,
And
I
that is,
know that, dude. I know that. Well, and I tell you, many people said, well, that sounded like Lilith. And I I don't know how
I
it's,
think it does. I
I
do. I
mean,
think it does. I was contemplating that very seriously. I'm like, is thunder Lilith? I was contemplating that. It resonates.
it, and it's so saturated
Yeah.
in the feminine first person.
Yes.
Did you get that? I mean,
Yes.
that's what I picked up. I kept on
I did
getting,
too. And you
yeah,
would think it wouldn't be with the title Thunder. You
yes.
think immediately masculine, lightning god, Zeus. And then this is thunder. And it seems like the expression of divine feminine nature.
You know, I'm reading this book, The Serpent and the Goddess, and holy crap. um, I think the folks that live in Ireland, Scotland, up in that region, the Druids, they, particularly in Ireland,
Mhm.
I'm learning something, Trina, and at times I almost have tears as I'm reading this, because there was a profound knowledge amongst those people of the feminine in a
Mhm.
level that I had not seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
witches, the druids, there's so much there. The Celtic princesses,
yes. Yeah.
priestesses. Yeah, there was a lot.
And you know what got me was it was the emasculation of the goddess itself that had to take place. And that's apparently what, you know, the patriarchal religions have done.
Yeah. Because when the feminine and the masculine are both being utilized in equality and equal power and understanding that they are one in their cooperation, and it seems to me like I would always be shown that the ultimate power in this construct here, because it's a polarity based system, is if you can go into the laws of cooperation, which everything is in alignment with it in its cause. It's like really powerful to manifest it and easy because it's cooperative with the source fabric of wisdom of, I think, the divine feminine itself.
You know what I'm learning? And I'm doing an experiment right now. And
Mhm.
as I continue to advance in it, I'll share what the results are. But here's the interesting thing,
Mhm.
that the power of the female in its perfect design,
Yeah.
that design, the way it is it's kind of like the source of all power, where all power is manifested and sent forth in the feminine.
I feel.
And I'm into something that's it's 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 way off what most people have ever really looked at, but it's powerful. I think I know why I think they tried to destroy the feminine.
Oh God, yes, they had to.
Yeah.
They had to.
And I see that so often in your aura, is that it it never went away.
Yeah.
The goddess never went away. She is still here, and it's amazing to me. I think she may be responsible for a lot of what we're seeing.
Yes. I
Does
think
that make
she's
sense?
I think she's waking up. It's almost like, when they put Adam to sleep, I think that Adam was literally the first manifest of the divine feminine on the planet. Everything's backwards.
Yeah.
So that would be the first Adam would literally be, and then they put Adam right to sleep because Adam was way too smart. So,
Adam was like a
do all this. And it's like, it's such a conundrum because I really do. Everything's backwards and upside down. And the biggest part of turning everything that way was the suppression of the divine feminine and the wisdom that's going with that. Because this is how we heal our trauma, is by accessing the subconscious, the dark parts of our mind. This is our most powerful tools for healing, for
Mhm.
all in manifestation and prayer and all of these functions that our avatars are doing. All of the body processes are being run by that part of you, which is her.
And here's something else. Boy, I tell you, got pressure in the back, and I can sense that it's not something anyway. The thing that I am sensing as well is that if in fact there is this personification of the feminine, I believe that she is so powerful that whether it's the reptilians,
Mhm.
whether it's whoever, that they're so afraid of that power of what she represents. Yeah, I think that this is.
I think Wayne, I think she is the first reptilian.
No, she may be.
Yeah.
I can't, and I keep on meditating on this and I'm going, all right, come on now. There's a universe out there. It's big. And, I keep on hearing about the reptilians, but I'm thinking to myself, all right, there's got to be someone else, and now according to some of the books I've read, there's like 280 plus species out there. I don't know. But if the reptilians are here, so let me ask this then. Are the reptilians bad or good?
I think they're both, just like us.
The duality factor runs
Yeah, you
again.
got to grasp this. It's what I mean. The judgment thing, it'll kick your butt every time because you just can't understand the fullness of creation. Reptilians come in all different shapes and sizes. I've seen sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all different. And some of them are benevolent and some of them are more like watchers. And some of them are very evil and want to feed off of your energy.
Yeah, when I figured that, and I never really saw it as reptilian, but I sensed the energies of what was being manipulated because, I have been involved in my past business life, particularly where things were really intense. And if I had only had, the song I hear, Small Faces, if I only knew what I know now back then when I was younger. I'm telling you, I think that this is probably the biggest problem in corporate America. I'm saying it out there right now. You CEOs that are listening to you, I know that there are some VCs that listen. I'm telling you, if corporate America could become aware of the dark energies that really begin to feed on the intensity,
Yes.
things
Those
would change.
archonic energies around big money
Oh,
are
yeah.
really powerful. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I tell people who've been in poverty that want to begin to experience prosperity, the thing you have to come to realize right from the get-go, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that means if you're taking something that you want for yourself, that means typically it's coming from something else.
The law of cause and effect. Bingo.
It does.
Yes. Bingo.
It's everywhere. It really is.
And then people don't understand. This is, I think, where we get karma is when we violate somebody else's free will. So, try to always make sure that whatever you're manifesting, it's not violating anybody else's free will. Because I'm telling you what, boy, if you start becoming on any kind of master level and you start creating out of service to self and bending the will of others, oh boy, the universe is going to spank you good.
Yeah, let me tell you what I learned on that. I learned that one decades ago, the hard way. But that's playing psychic roulette.
Yes.
It's going to, and I'll just use the phrase when I was much younger. It's pissing in the wind. You're going to get wet.
You're going to get soaked.
I mean, and it's you.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, you'll be eating your own crow, that's for sure, and going, man.
Oh, and let me just say this to couples, and I'm speaking to maybe more than just one, but when you've had those moments of intense emotional discussions with your significant other, your soulmate, whoever that may be, you know what I'm talking about because you've seen it. You've seen that when you start getting deeply emotional about something, particularly where anger may come in, that how it becomes intensified very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And it's why it's so hard to break away from it until you cast the spell.
Yep.
It's true, Trina.
It is that energy is like a magic soup for bad stuff, and it yeah, it's powerful, very powerful. So I mean, this is 90% of our battle is learning how to control the energies that we're creating how to stop them when we do create them, how to stop judging and accusing ourselves most of all, because when you do that, then you'll stop judging others. And that's how you win that battle, is the accuser
Yeah.
and judgments that we have. Those are reflections of what we got going on inside.
Yes. Yep.
So
Yeah,
we got to
absolutely.
start working on that and start loving ourselves through our traumas, through our bad decisions, and knowing those are going to be our greatest treasures later, because humans love patterns. The ego loves patterns and routines. It loves to keep us safe, and that's its primary way to do that. When you learn new things out of discomfort, utter trauma, confusion, whatever it does to bring you a transition of how you used to see something into a better place, and you can see things from a higher position and a bigger view and not hold negative charge, judgment, um, disharmony, which leads to dis-ease in the body, because these things are in our subconscious field and sometimes they're hard to get a hold of. But these are the things we need to start going in and finding. It's like, where are my blocks in my life? What could that be reflecting of a past trauma? When have I felt like this before? Start asking these questions and dive deep into yourself. I was doing that yesterday, and I met a part of myself that died, a female, and she was a warrior, and she was carrying a lot of bad trauma. And I had to heal her and love her through it. There's a lot of guilt with battle. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
I
so
can see
there was
that.
a lot of work that was needing to be done. And it feels like I gained something in my heart. It's like you're almost recollecting parts of yourself that you have forgotten. And I think this is part of the work too that's going to start coming up, is now that we're having an awareness of the fractals,
Mm-hmm.
potential of the different parts of self. I think right now it's about remembering and reconnecting to all the parts of yourself,
You
even the
know,
ones, even the ones that need healing.
I remember back in the 80s, I was really into motivational. I learned in the early 70s, Earl Nightingale. But Brian Tracy in the 80s had, in one of his seminars and his subsequent, back in the days when they were on cassette tapes, um, he had a whole hour on how we have to go back and meet you, your
Mhm.
child.
Yeah,
And
I've seen miracles happen with the inner child work.
yeah, and
Total spontaneous healings happen through that. Mhm.
that's how. And um, and I'm hearing the program because I was back in the day a ward warrior. My district covered 5 states, and so a lot of traveling time. And I listened to motivational tapes all the time. And I'm recalling, I would remember because I was right in the Sandhills in North Carolina. Um, and right the Research Triangle area, and this is what hit me. So I was in a forest, and there was a log that had a tree had fallen, and I had met Wayne Steiger. But Wayne Steiger was only 8 years old, seven, I think, 7 or 8. And it was the most amazing conversation and it shows you how we are living multiple lives in the same construct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That the connection to the inner child, um, for me, that's been one of my most wonderful gifts, was learning how to connect with the little me. Oh my gosh, I just love her. And I had to listen to her, and I had to listen to her trauma. And we had to work through some things together. And then once we did that, now she can help me work through things that I have no awareness of. She can take me to places in the past. She can take me to past lives. She can guide me in my body. She is a massively amazing tool for healing and self exploration, healing and understanding, which leads to deep gnosis.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So this is what I look at each morning to remind myself, and I'll just show you, Trina. Um, this is so each morning when I get
Little
up,
Wayne.
there I am. And that's who
Love it.
I still have conversations with.
That's awesome. Isn't he
Yeah.
smart?
Well, I think he's a handsome kid. I mean,
Oh,
no
absolutely.
doubt about it. And he had that smile on his face, like he knew exactly what he was going to do in this life. And, so anyway,
You
it's a,
sure do. You have that look like, I got this all figured out.
or
Yeah.
so we thought.
Uh-huh.
But it's a good mental exercise, folks. It'll help cleanse you in a
Mhm.
lot of different ways. And because it'll bring back memories that so often we have sheltered. Because
Yeah.
as a child, we came in with a perception that was a blank canvas.
Yes.
And
Right.
as it was being painted, it becomes a part of us. And the hurts, the fears, the misloves, these are all
All
things
of it.
that, yeah.
It's what makes your fingerprint unique. It's what makes
Mm-hmm.
you you. And nobody
Yeah.
else will ever be like you because they haven't experienced potentially eons of lifetimes experiencing on different planets, solar systems. We can't perceive or even we can't grasp even a small part of what we even are in a human body. So with
Yeah.
that, that's where faith comes in and knowing that you are more than what you see here and starting to connect to that powerful, beautiful frequency and sound and color and light that is directly connected to you. And it's only you.
And I'll just inject this, that inner child that
Mhm.
is in all of us, that inner child is a faith giant.
Oh, yes.
And folks, if you will learn to come back to that child will teach you some stuff.
They have no fear. None.
None.
None. None.
Um, the word I kept hearing today was calling those things that be not as they are. Children do that.
Yes, they do.
They will call out those things, which are not present. And many times I have seen it, and they'll manifest. And I know a child that was so exceptional that he knew that there was no way that he could get a bicycle because he was not in a wealthy family.
Mhm.
And that child learned something. Number one, got a picture of it, and he put the bicycle up in his room. And that bicycle manifested in
Yes.
that child's life.
Yes. This is how it works.
Yeah.
This literally is how it works. And that's the thing. We've been fed what to see. We've been fed what to attain. And that's the thing. It's like we got to break away all the programs that we've learned and unlearn everything that we have learned and start with the foundation of your inner child and work with that. And it's like, okay, where do you need healing? Where do you want to go? Because your inner child, I think, literally knows everything that you were meant to do on this lifetime. It like knows the whole story.
Mm.
Yeah.
As you were talking, I saw in my mind, it's going to be the classic scene, folks, and our departure out. All of our lives are going to be blended together as we walk out over into the next realm.
That's what I'm feeling, and I'm thinking if we can do it consciously before we die, it's going to be a massive, huge shift for this planet and consciousness of humanity.
And let me just say something. I don't know if someone needs to hear that. The reason why I also look at that picture of me is that, you see, I realized there's nothing I can judge that child against. There's no accusation I can bring against that child.
Yeah,
So why would I bring an accusation against me as an adult?
right, right.
I'm the same
That,
child.
yeah, that's when you win, when you were
Yeah.
seen as a child, and you were only seen as a child as if you remember that you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, folks, stop being your own Satan.
Like I said, Wayne, you're like dropping some serious keys to life here. It's like the whole inner child work, and yeah, knowing that you're the accuser. It's like this is how they soul trap us, and literally, he is giving you guys the keys to your freedom. It's so powerful. It like makes me emotional because this information literally took me 30 years to attain.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to have some conversations of myself in my midlife because you see, I was my own Satan.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that as I look back now, Trina, I was in a cycle that was a no-win cycle.
Yeah. Programs
Yeah.
running in circles.
The program of accusing myself, well, you sorry son of a bitch, and these type of self-talks, you could have done that better. What the hell was you thinking? And then you get into that and you want to know why it replays itself over and over again, because I could never win. I could never argue against myself because I believed it.
Absolutely. And it's so funny because trauma, it's going to always hold the heaviest charge, because trauma, when you've received trauma, like say if you touch a stove and you know it's hot, you learn not to touch fire. When trauma comes to the body, it's usually recorded very strongly so it can keep you safe from repeating it. So this is how we're also getting stuck, is because these negative things that happened in our lives hold really powerful charges. And this is how you negate them, is by going into the subconscious mind and looking at it from a observer point of view, looking at how it has affected your life. Did it help you? Did it hurt you? What did you learn from it? When you can see this thing from a different place, and it's not that it changes the information, it's totally intact, but it shifts the way you feel about it.
Mm.
As soon as you feel about it differently, it heals, because it can't travel down the same neural pathways that it once was traveling forth. You've literally created a new pathway in your mind.
Excellent. Laying down, on the
New
scientific
neural
realm.
pathways. You
Yes.
got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And that is
And
straight up, that is brain growth.
and that is what it is.
Yes.
If we only lose, as they say, 10% of the capacity, everyone uses 100% of your brain. You just don't use much more than 10%.
That's all
Someone's,
speaking.
yeah. I just wanted to give, someone said they had done an episode on the Liber Lilith. Send me the link and I'll share it. But getting back to that, you see, that's that if people could grasp the fact that if you're laying down a neuron that you're sending it out on an electromagnetic tube.
Yep.
It has to have a destination, because if it doesn't, it ends up just basically kind of in the dump.
Yes, and the way I see its destinations, they match in frequency. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why they travel, like certain traumas that are similar in resonance, they'll all be in the same cluster in the brain.
Yeah.
Because they have a resonant frequency, and they all have a memory pattern of, when have I felt like this before?
I'm going to buy myself one of those neuro feedback machines that you can actually hook the electrodes up to your brain, because I want to start learning, if the brain is a muscle and it's the organ that it is. I've learned that, and it's been shown that people who have had traumatic brain injury, they can literally reprogram other parts of their brain to take over, for instance, motor function, skills.
I had a personal friend who actually did that. He was on a motorcycle accident and he hit a curb with his head at 50 miles an hour, and it caved in half his brain. So, and he had to learn to walk, to talk, to eat, everything again. But he learned everything with using parts of his brain that had to shift because they were no longer functionable. They were just done.
So that, and the philosopher in me, when I hear that, so I'm thinking to myself, see, that was a soul that was an amazing soul. I mean, think about it.
And this is when I realized for the first time that I could access the soul while people were in a coma. through tapping on the left palm. It was literally like waking them up or something. I don't know how to explain it, but I would tap on his left palm and I would explain to him what was happening. I would explain to him how his brain was crushed. I would explain to him what the doctors were trying to do. And I told him, I says, you need to fix this. And literally his brain activity would light up in the room and he would start to cry when he hadn't moved in 20 days. The nurses were like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Because he had a 10% chance to live through the night. And I just went in there and started everything I knew. And there was reaction. And it was amazing. And he started to cry and he was failing. And he wouldn't wake up from they take you off the drugs and you're supposed to wake up. He wasn't waking up. It was bad. So I was accessing the soul. And he woke up the next morning at 4:00 in the morning. Yeah.
That's so interesting. When I was in my coma, I don't remember anything. I just don't.
He doesn't remember anything either.
But I have this sense that I was more aware than what I was showing, through the biorhythms, what they had for all the, blood pressure, heart rate, and everything else. Yeah.
You know what the weirdest thing is too about that, Wayne, is he had no memory from the time he from like, okay, because I dated him in high school. So when I dated him in high school, all of that memory from the time I dated him in high school all the way backwards was intact in his brain. But he had lost forward from that time, I think it was 8 years. So there was nothing from before that. So I wonder if when I was tapping on the soul, because I've known him his whole life since we were little kids, and I was able to reconnect something in that brain through my voice and my frequency to bring back those memories and activate him and get him back in his head somehow. I don't know. It was very profound, that whole situation. It was really weird.
I think, and this is just me, Trina, that you were in fact that, see, this is just me. And since I've had about 5 NDEs, I think we actually leave these bodies.
Yeah, he was somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
I knew I was sending like an antenna signal to him. I knew he was not in his body. I knew it.
Yeah. I mean, because the body requires so much energy to heal.
Yeah.
And some people, unfortunately, the reservoir is so low, or the body is so damaged it can't. But yeah.
Yes.
That's profound. I mean, so so today he is back. Is those 8 years still missing?
Most of them, and he has a little bit of short-term memory loss still because he had half of his head was crushed.
I mean,
it's amazing he can walk and talk. You know what I mean? So no, he learned to walk again, talk again, eat again, everything, which they said he probably wouldn't even be able to talk because he did frontal lobe and all. It was bad. So yeah, he's a miracle in essence. Yeah, but he still does have, brain injury for sure.
Whoa. I mean, and, I'd be curious if anyone else has ever been in, a coma like that. If you had any memories, I've talked to a lot of people and they're like me. They just,
they don't.
Yeah. I've tried, I have focused, but
if you go into those, the states of trance, like the going the in between, you can go there and get your anesthesia memory from that.
Yeah, I think what I've surmised thus far, Trina, is that I was really sick. I was close to death. I as the doctors told me, I was technically dead when I first came in. But yeah, I mean, I think I just left.
I think you do just leave.
Yeah.
It's that simple. You just leave.
It was like, all right, buddy.
It's like, okay, you might be done. So I'm going to start just checking
It's like this, man. I'm already out. It was a nice, easy ticket. Thank you for the headaches and everything else,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I do. I think we go out. I really, really do. Because, when I was a little girl, the first person I ever saw dead, and when I touched him when he was in the coffin, I knew he was gone. he was just gone. He was not in that body, and I could feel it and I knew it. And then when he showed up in my hallway 3 months later, fully manifest, what I was looking at right there, I was like, that's you.
Mm-hmm.
That was you.
Mm-hmm.
I felt his personality. I felt his heart. I felt him, and he was in spirit form. And I was a little kid, and it scared me so bad, and I ran out of my house. But yeah, I was the first time I was like, wow, when we die, we don't die. There's no way, because there's no way he could be standing in my hallway if he was dead.
Folks, I'm going to be doing a program. Hello, Dancer. She knows that it's almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So the evidence is showing that we are both alive and dead at the same time.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, we are. It's a hard thing. For instance, dreaming.
Mhm.
Do you know that you spend, we know that the typical person spends about 35% of their existing life asleep.
Mhm.
And within that sleeping time, about every 2 to 3 hours, we recycle into REM sleep, which is dream state. Here was the interesting thing I found. The average person spends 5 to 7 years in a dream state.
That's awesome.
We're not even here, folks.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing because like when I started working with my dreams a long time ago, that's when I started connecting to my past lives and actually capturing myself within different realities. And that was kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I keep on thinking that, maybe there's just this firewall. And if you ever penetrate the firewall, you look on the other side and you're going, oh, wow.
You know what's kind of funny? It's like 10% of our brain is usually active or doing stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
less. I wonder if the other sleeping parts is that invisible light, but it's connected to the other selves that are operating on the different levels because we're multidimensional and we just don't know. Just like the subconscious mind, we don't know half of how our own body works, let alone, all the other processes that are going on within that. So I wonder if that's part of the dark matter, the subconscious mind is a full comprehension and awareness of all of your other selves participating in
I don't
creation.
know.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole thing. I have it right here on post-it note.
Mhm.
I keep on coming back to this. We have not progressed as a species in the modern era, and I call the modern era since the time of the tablets. So that was the Sumerians. So we can figure about 8,500 years ago that mankind, humanity, has not increased in IQ.
Yeah. I
We
think
and
that's because of the artificial intelligence frequency web net we've had placed
I
over
think
us
it's a
for generations.
suppression.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's some kind of very advanced technology, possibly even from off-world Orion.
It has to be. I mean, we
Yeah,
should
Kryptonian.
be, Trina, every one of us in here should be at least a baseline IQ of 2000.
And that's what I see happening. It's like the 2020 perfect vision. They always talk about in the Bible, the veil was going to be ripped,
Mm-hmm.
shattered. I see that might be what this means, is because 2020 is perfect vision. That means the veil is going to be removed.
Well, if we could start something has, I think, again, suppressed us. Our lifespans, we should be living past 1,000 years,
Yes. Or at least 1,000.
at
Yeah.
least a
Yes,
thousand.
at least, or right around that age, 890, or 1,100, 1,200, whatever. But we should be dying in that range.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we shouldn't
and
be dying. Go
this
ahead.
body regenerates every 7 years. Every single cell in your body is brand new in 7 years, just like the Bible's 7 days. It's the same system of creation. You got about 9 months, 12 months, your spine's regenerated. It's like one of the longest ones is the spinal cord. But you get brand new eyeballs every 72 hours. You get a brand new liver every 30 days. You get brand new lungs every 6 months. It's like all of these organs are regenerating in the body, but they're all following broken patterns. They have bad instructions.
Well, I see it as someone has genetically manipulated, but that's just
That's what
my
I mean. They
opinion.
took our
Yeah,
genetics and plugged in
they
bad
did.
information, and now we're
Yeah.
broke.
And I keep on telling them, I said, listen, I'm all about forgiveness, but I'm going to say, and I have told, that's why I'm not bothered by what they call evil spirits, because
Mhm.
I literally tell them, you jack with me, when I cross over, you're going to be the first one. I'm coming over and I'm going to kick your ass. I'm stronger than you. I'm superior to you. I will put you into the nothingness. And every time I've used that term to any spiritual entity and I tell them that I will bind them to the nothingness, they're gone.
They're out.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're
I
out.
think the
Because
word is
they can't
out,
even,
Trina.
yeah, they can't comprehend that. Yep.
No, I mean, and the fact that each and every one of us, if you're in these meat suits, these bodies, and you have the ability to bind and to loose,
Yes, you do.
people don't use that, Trina. What, unless they
Because they don't believe in their own power. And if they
ain't
don't
that the
believe in their
truth.
own power, when they try to bind, it won't work. And that will validate their doubt in their own self.
And then
This is
that
the
just starts a
hardest thing.
cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing to learn is that you are this powerful. Yeah, I mean, it is truly to realize that we truly can affect matter and deflect darkness with a thought. That is super hard for us to comprehend because we've been so taught that we need saviors, we need rulership, we need kings, we need government. All this stuff has been put into us over thousands and thousands of years. So, literally, it's very hard for you to tap into what is true because in this monkey suit, you're holding all of the cellular memory of all of your ancestors on this planet before you. You get that when you get your human body, it connects to the grid through the system, and you get all of that stuff. So, like you said, the time of the giants, all the traumas,
Oh
all of the
God.
crazy crap.
Oh, and
Yeah,
people
it's
won't
in
believe
us.
that.
And it's inside of your cellular memory. Like you said, the dark matter in there.
I contend, and I know Kent Nichols, that's what I love about the guy, and that he can see these. And I'm
Mhm,
understanding something about these dark ones, but here's
mhm.
the point. The giants were here.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a fallacy. That's not a myth. That's not a legend. They were here.
Yep. Yes, they.
And Trina, I'm going to focus 2020 on this because there's this period of history that has been literally taken out.
Totally.
Totally.
Because I don't think they want us to understand the micro macro system. These giants,
Yes.
yeah. I remember I told you the really big gods that are make these would look like little insects. It's
Hmm.
like they don't want us to understand this concept. They do not
No.
want you to understand the what happens to things when different magnetics are applied.
I'm sorry. I'm hearing Og in my head going, yeah, bring your insect-sized minded fecal god and, to stand up against our God.
Yep. That's
And
exactly, that is so true to me, Wayne.
it's
When
like,
you said that, it was one of those moments like when you drop the whole genetic code of
yeah,
who you
going,
were. I was like, holy crap, one of those moments. Yeah.
it's like,
Because I'm like, the big God, oh, I saw that thing. It's massive.
woo.
Oh my God, it was huge. I was like, whoa,
And
that's
there
huge.
was a Twilight Zone done about something similar like that, that the gods were these huge giants.
Oh
I
my God.
mean, they were miles high.
Oh, this
And
thing I saw could hold the earth in its hand like it was like a little ball, like a little ball. Just held it like it was a little
thank you.
ball.
Yeah.
Yep, that's how big it was. That's what I mean. I've seen these giant gods. And it ain't no earth size thing. It's like, oh, it would be like, think, I was like, oh yeah, I totally wasn't even ready for that. I that
And
was
then you got the theory that this universe is actually the brain of
totally,
a being.
totally. I wonder, I
I,
totally see
I I
that.
think that there's a lot of truth to that, that we're
Me
merely the
too.
thought.
I do too, because this is a mental construct and it's
It
based on,
is. It
yes,
is. Yeah,
based on
it is.
magnetics, and our brains are controlled by magnetics. It's just too much similarity there. It's like, there's something to that.
Well, Miss Trina, another hour has come and gone. This is just far out. I so enjoy these moments with you.
Me
They're
too.
profound. They're entertaining. They're joyous, and they just give me, happy feet. It's like,
Me too. And it's like we are learning from each other at a really an exponential. This is
yeah,
going. This is moving
yeah.
fast, guys. You guys are learning. I'm
I,
learning. He's learning. We're
I,
all learning at such a fast rate of speed right now. It's kind of blowing my mind because, like I said, it's like you've covered like stuff that took me almost 20, 30 years to wrap my head around.
yeah. I just look at it like we're line dancing. I got Brooks and Dunn, and we're all out on the dance floor, and more people are joining us, and
Absolutely. That is what
doing a
I
little
see.
boot scooting boogie here.
I literally see us like stars connecting in the heavens
Yeah,
above. So somehow we're
mm,
connected to the stars and we
yeah.
connect to each other. It's amazing. It was beautiful the way they showed it to me. So I see
I
you out
love
there, my
it.
stars.
I love it. By the way, I'm a big Brooks and Dunn fan.
Me too.
My company, when I lived in Nashville, we did the first music video for Brooks and Dunn.
Oh,
Oh, yes, we
wow.
did. And
Wow.
it's when I first met the guys, and brand new man, very proud of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful son.
uh, loved them
Are
for.
those some class act human beings or what?
Oh, two of the nicest guys that
I
you'd
heard that.
ever. Ronnie and Kix are just, just they were just down to earth guys. They really were.
That's cool because I've heard that and I
Yeah,
wanted, that's cool
yeah.
that you actually met them. I was like, is it
Oh,
true what they
yeah,
say? They
yeah,
say
yeah,
they are amazing human
yeah.
beings.
I saw them 6 times. Yeah.
Wow.
Got to go
I've seen them a couple
backstage with
times,
them.
but
Yeah,
never got to meet them or anything.
yeah. And I mean,
Great band.
and it always brings, when Reba, she was
Yeah.
really one that helped find them as well. And, of course, their relationship with Reba McEntire is legendary. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah,
yeah.
totally. Those, yeah. They opened for her for how many years?
Oh,
Right?
man. I mean, 2 or 3 years. I mean, yeah, that was on the circuit. That
I
was,
saw
yeah,
her in Texas and they opened for her, Brooks
yeah,
and Dunn. I
yeah,
loved them. I was like,
yeah.
wow, these guys are just awesome. Yeah. Years ago.
Memories. All right, all
Memories.
you groovy people, thank you for watching.
Love you.
Joyous and favorable New Year's. And Miss Trina, I'll let you take us out. And folks, I'll probably be on tomorrow, but definitely Thursday. So, Trina, what do you have going for you this week?
You know, tonight I'm going to be probably just hanging out at the house because I normally do on New Year's
That's
because it's
what
so
I do.
crazy. Yeah, Phoenix is crazy too.
Yeah.
It's a party. So
Ain't going out there. Nope. Nope.
yep. So yeah, bringing in the new year. I have some friends coming over, and my kids will be here. So
Excellent.
family, friends, games, and planning on doing a lot of manifestation. The energies right now are off the hook.
Yeah.
Um, just right now, for whatever reason, there's a window, and it seems like kind of like the Halloween energies, where it's kind of easier to connect through the different bridges of consciousness.
Yep.
So guys, take some time and go explore and see what you can find. I've had a wonderful week with that kind of energy, and it's been a little rocky too because it's purging stuff too. So
And the
if
new
you're
moon.
feeling that stuff, no, you're not alone.
Yeah, folks, you really aren't.
But
Yeah.
I love you all. Happy, happy. Oh, just favor, manifest well this 2020. Let's rip the veil and shred it and just throw it in the trash and start to see everything with new eyes and start to focus our vision on really what we want to see.
I second that motion, folks. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Dancer, I'll get right there, sweetie, for a great 2019. Thank you for your support. It was a weird year. I kind of just said I had enough of the Nibiru Planet X thing, and that had that whole thing. And but I just want to thank everyone that's here. You guys have supported this channel, and it's an honor and a privilege to be included in your journey. And thank you, Trina.
Thank
Just
you,
so
Wayne.
much appreciate you. You're just
Oh,
a blessing in my life. So,
me too. I
all right,
feel
folks,
exactly the same. And
be
I love
safe.
you guys. Mwah!
All right, we'll see y'all later on. Be good. Bye bye, and be safe. Don't
Yeah.
moderation. Although I'll be surprised if anyone really drinks in this group, Trina. All right, folks. All right. Much love.